Hello everyone. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. So you are all are welcome to my Drupal session. I am Ivanta Lekamge from Colombo, Sri Lanka. I am working as Associate Technical Lead at WSO2. I started my career about 9 years ago as PHP developer. Later on, I moved to different kind of platforms, frameworks. Now, currently, I'm working with Drupal module developments and Drupal research and developments. So single sign-on across Drupal 8 is result of one of my research and development. Why I choose this topic is, you know that today, digital-driven world, the connecting system is must for an organization. All the organizations are getting organized, getting digitalized in nowadays. So organization may have different kind of systems, platforms. So there should be way to interconnect those systems and platforms. So when we consider about the organization, there are different kind of systems, just like HR system, payroll system, customer portal, stock management system, and their company website and their blog. So let's say some employee user of the organization need to access a payroll system. Then user what needs to do is user want to register for the payroll system first. Then user need to access the payroll system. So let's say user want to access all these systems in the organization. Sometimes there will be have 15 to 20 systems in the organization. So user need to register for each these systems separately, and then user need to log into these systems. So you all know that the registering to all these systems separately and log into these all systems separately, it's not practical. So what we need to have is we need to have some mechanism for that. So user want to have single set of user credentials, and is there a way to access all these systems? So that's why we are talking about single sign-on. So what is single sign-on? A single sign-on is authentication mechanism that allow users to use single set of user credentials and access multiple systems in the organization. In here, the important thing is user will have only one username and password. That single username and password can be used to access all the systems and websites application in the organization. So I will take a simple example and I will explain what is this single sign-on, how single sign-on works, and also benefits for the users and benefits for the organization. So in the single sign-on environment, all the sites and systems are connected with the single authentication mechanism. So if user want to access some application or system or website in the organization, user need to get authenticated from this single authentication mechanism, and user can access each website application in the organization. The best known example is Google. You all know that, you all have experience with Google services. In Google, have different kind of services like Gmail, YouTube, and Google Calendar. So let's say someone need to access Google Drive, then user need to log into Gmail. User will be get authenticated from Gmail. After that, user can log into Google Drive. So after logging to one Google service, it will automatically log into all other Google services. The other thing is, important thing is, once you register for a one Google service, it will automatically register for all other Google services. Sometimes in the paid services, you need to get authenticated, you need to get permission separately. Apart from that, you will get access to all Google services. So in this example, in this diagram, so what happened is the three websites are interconnected interconnected to the single authentication mechanism. This is a single sign-on environment. User is there. Let's say user want to access one website. So what user need to do is, first of all, user need to get authenticated from this single authentication mechanism. After that, user can access the website. Likewise, let's say get the actual organization. In the organization, they are having different kind of systems, platforms. So let's say user want to access the payroll system in the organization, then user need to connect to this single authentication mechanism, and user need to get authenticated, and user need to log into payroll system. So you may think that, so this is a little bit complex, and why we need to have single sign-on environment and single sign-on mechanism. So there are some benefits for the users and benefits for the organizations. So I will explain benefits for the user first. So the first benefit is same user credentials used for multiple systems to simplify login benefits. So user can have single set of user credentials to access all the systems and site applications in the organization. So same as once user log into some system and application, it will automatically register to all the sites and systems in the organization. The next point is automatic login to federated systems. It is just like this. Once user log into one system in the organization, it will automatically log into all other systems. Let's say user has logged into HR system. Now that user session can use to log into all other systems, just like payroll system or stock management system and everything. The next thing is single logout system. You know that sometimes in the organization, they will have different kind of systems, and if you want to log out from that system, so you need to log out from each system separately. So this is good mechanism, SLO, single logout mechanism. So once you logged out from one system, it will automatically logged out from all the systems in the same single sign-on environment. So I think the creating single sign-on environment is little bit challengeable. There are a lot of configurations, and there are some steps to follow, and there are some cost. There are some cost for that. So why organization need SSO? So main benefit is, so users, user roles, user permissions, user information, everything are stored in a centralized system. So it is easy to maintain the users and user roles in the organization. Let's say in the organization want to prevent access in HR system to all employees. So what system admin wants to do is need to connect to centralized system, and system admin can change the user permission, and user can organization can prevent access in systems, prevent access in HR system to all employees in the organization. So next thing is the low operational cost. Since all the user information are stored in the centralized location, the operational cost is low. Also the security wise, so organization want to secure the centralized location, only one location, instead of securing different locations. So in that sense, again, cost low, and operational wise it's easier to operation. So in the migration wise, you know that, so sometimes we want to migrate our systems, our sites, our application from one environment to another environment, or sometimes to different platform. In that kind of situation, the migration process is easier because all the user credentials are stored in separate locations. So just need to do only the system configuration, and then migration can be done easily. Also, sometimes organization wants to add new system uh, to the single sign-on environment. In that kind of situation, the organization needs to only do the system configuration part and need to connect that system to single sign-on environment. Then after that, system admins can do the SSO configuration, and users can easily use these new systems without registering to them. So those are the main benefits that organization has. So because of those benefits, nowadays most of organizations are setting up single sign-on environment in their inside their organizations. So these are few SSO standards. So actually I got this slide from internet. So there are different kind of SSO standards, just like SAML 2.0, WS Federation, WS Trust, or 2.0, OpenID, and CIM. So I'm not going to discuss everything in here, but I am discussing SAML in this session. What is SAML? SAML is XML-based data format that used for exchanging authentication and authorization information between the identity provider and service provider. So basically, in this session, so I am discussing about SAML and what is identity provider and what is service provider. So I will take simple examples and some simple examples, and also some diagrams, and I will explain what is SAML and identity provider and service provider. This is the definition of the identity provider and service provider. So later on I will explain those things with the example. So this is the example. There are three entities are interconnected in this environment. User is there, and IDP, identity provider, and SP, service provider. All the user details, user credentials, and authentication mechanism is stored in this identity provider, IDP. In the service provider will consist of all the services in the organization. Let's say user want to access some system in the organization. Let's say user want to access the stock management system. So what user needs to do is user need to send a SAML request to identity provider via service provider and need to get authenticated from identity provider. So identity provider, after getting the SAML request, what identity provider doing is identity provider is checking whether this SAML request is getting from a non-service provider. So because the request should be inside the same SSO environment. So if it is from a non-service provider, then IDP start to get authenticate the user request. In that sense, sometimes IDP will do the user authentication process by connecting to local database or local IDP or whatever user store, and get authenticate the user and create the SAML response and sending that SAML response to service provider. So what service provider is doing after getting the SAML response from the IDP, so SP service provider consume this SAML response and create a session. After creating this session, user can access the stock management system as same as user can access all the systems and application in the same SSO environment and in the same organization. So when you see this example, you may think that there are the process is little bit complex, but when you see this diagram, you can see there are just 7 steps are involved in this process. So basically there are 3 entities again: user, service provider, and identity provider. Now user want to log into the system. So what user doing is user sending a request to service provider, and service provider create a SAML request and sending that SAML request to identity provider as HTTP request. And after identity provider getting a request from service provider, as I explained, it's checking whether it's coming from a non-source, non-service provider. If so, identity provider is start to identity provider do the authentication process. So after do the authentication process, user create a SAML response. Then user again sending so identity provider create the SAML response and sending that SAML response to service provider, and service provider consume that response and allow users to log in the system. These are the steps which involve in the SSO environment, and all the requests and response are handled as SAML request and SAML responses. So now what I am going to do is I am going to setting up a SSO environment, single sign-on environment. For that, there are some requirements. There are basic requirements. The main requirement is you need to have simple SAML PHP library. You all know that simple SAML PHP library can be downloaded from Google. Also, you want to have 2 Drupal instances, Drupal 8 2 instances. So if you still have Drupal 7 instances, yes, you can do the SSO configuration for the Drupal 7 as well. And also you need to have simple SAML PHP auth Drupal module. This also can be downloaded from the Drupal site. Then we need to setting up service provider and identity provider. So as I explained, we need to have 2 Drupal instances, and we are using SAML and creating service making 1 Drupal instance as service provider by using simple SAML, and also other Drupal instance we can make it as identity provider using SAML again. So let's do the practical part. So I have written Medium article for this. So basically the start of the Medium article, I have explained the theoretical part, what is SSO and benefit and everything. So latter part of the Medium article, I have explained how to setting up SSO environment for your organization. For that, you need to have simple SAML library and Drupal instances and simple SAML auth PHP auth Drupal module. First of all, you need to download the Drupal simple SAML PHP auth Drupal module, and you want to install inside your Drupal modules. Sometimes I think you can download that simple SAML auth PHP module using this path, and you need to install that. Sometimes in the installation process, they are asking for some dependencies, 2 libraries, just like external authentication and simple SAML PHP library. So external authentication can be downloaded from here. It's also a Drupal project, and you need to install in the Drupal module, and you need to install simple SAML PHP library. After all, sometimes due to version changes, sometimes they are asking to more dependencies. In that kind of situations, run this composer command, and it will automatically download and install all the missing dependencies, all the missing modules for Drupal. So now your Drupal auth module is ready. So we need to configure 1 Drupal instance as service provider by using simple SAML PHP library. So for that, so I have, this is my Drupal instance. So first of all, what we need to do is you need to download the simple SAML PHP library, and you want to copy that simple SAML PHP library to vendor folder of your Drupal service provider. So after copying, it will be just like this. You can see all the files and folders. So after copying that, you want to create a symlink for the www folder. So you can get this command. So I have mentioned every command in my Drupal article. So So you are logging to Drupal SP and vendor, simple SAML, and you are running this command, and it will create the Symlink folder in here. You can see the Symlink folder. So after creating that, you want to create a .htaccess file. For that, I have given you the htaccess file in here. You want to get the content from this content from here. These are the rules I want to add for the file. Then you want to copy, and you need to create a htaccess file inside the simple SAML folder, which is simply by us, and you need to copy that to here. So I have already copied that htaccess content to here. So after all, you need to do some configuration changes in the simple SAML in the service provider. For that, you want to access the simple SAML folder in, and go to config.php, and we need to change everything just like this. The store type should be SQL because we are connecting to Drupal. We are connecting to we are connecting to SQL database. So we need to change as SQL the store type as SQL, and in the Drupal installation, you know that we are setting up Drupal database and password. You want to change the database and password just like this. So store type SQL DSN should be changed to this MySQL host localhost. Host should be localhost, and the DB name and everything should be there. And also the store type, your store type, username and password. Your store type is SQL username and password. My local username and password is both root. So after that, you want to change the admin password. For that, admin password, I have at the admin password Drupal admin password. So after that, you want to change the SAML 20. You want to enable the SAML 20 IDP as true, right? So you are changing it as true, and we are allowing service provider to access the identity provider by that. So then there are two configurations: technical contact name and technical email. Those are not mandatory fields. I am making it as one as administrator, and email as my email, vivanta@wso2.com. So after all, this is the configuration path. So you want to add this configuration path to by end of the config.php file. I have already added. This is my configuration path, Drupal SP simple SAML path, right? So after that, you want to create some certifications, right? So basically, you want to create saml.pem file and saml.crt file for this service provider. For that, you want to access the cert basically. This is the path. Sorry, I am fine. So inside the vendor folder, right, inside the simple SAML, and you can see the cert path. So something wrong in my terminal. So sorry about that. So anyway, so I will show. Anyway, you need to run this command. You need to run this command for the cert folder of the service provider, right? So service provider of the after setting up everything, so you need to go to localhost and Drupal SP and simple SAML, just like this. Then the simple SAML installation is already done, and you can see all the configuration information and authentication information, federation information, everything's are here. So now you have already setting up service provider, and now you need to setting up the identity provider. For that, you need to follow up the above process, steps as same as you want to. I have already set up IDP for that. For that, I have created symlinks as simple SAML, and I have you need to add this the htaccess rules to this htaccess file for the IDP, and you need to change. You need to go to enable. You need to go to config.php file again, same as last configuration. For the IP, vendor simple SAML PHP, and your config and config file should be changed. And you need to again you are connecting to SQL database, and store type should be SQL, and you need to add your database username and password, everything as we added before. And also you need to set base configuration path to your Drupal IP. So after setting up everything, so we are enabling we are using example auth user pass as our authentication source. For that, we need to enable the example auth authentication source. For that, what we need to do is we need to go to IP Drupal IP and vendor. The path is simple SAML modules, and cd example auth, and we need to enable that. After enabling, you are enabled example auth. You can see enabling here. So after that, you need to open the config folder and auth sources PHP file of the IDP. For that, you are going to config, then auth source PHP file, and you need to uncomment this default SP. We are using default SP as basic service provider name, and we need to uncomment that default SP field. And also you want to uncomment this area, example user path. For that, I have added the content what you want to copy. You need to copy this code, and you need to add this code to here. So we are setting up two users for authentication process in the IDP. The first one is the student, the second one is the employee. The student and their password is student pass, and the employee, the password is employee pass. So in here I am using array for authentication process, but if you need, we can use LDAP for authentication process. If your organization have LDAP, yes, you can use this LDAP. And also if you have SQL database, yes, you can connect with the SQL database in here. You can update database and username and password. You can connect that with the SQL database. So anyway, user authentication source should be in here in this folder config auth resources.php folder, the file. So now again, as we did before, we need to create self-signed certificates. For that, again, we are going to cert. So I think there was an issue on last time. So going to cert, I am getting copy of this and running it here. So ASCII, so country name, I am from Sri Lanka, so I am adding LK. So my state name and my city, and my company and unit name. So after setting up everything, you can see the cert files, and you can see every files and cert folders here, just like this. You can see the cert server.crt file and server.pem file. So now we are about to finish the IDP configuration. For that, the last configuration is you want to change the metadata folder SAML20 IDP host, and you need to set it up. You created self-signed certificates in there. So you access metadata folder, and you need to access the SAML20 IDP hosted PHP, SAML20 IDP hosted CHP, and you want to add the server.pm file and server.crt file. Those are the two files we created in last command by running this command. So now everything is ready. So your identity provider is ready, and your service provider was ready, and now your identity provider also ready. So what Drupal IP and simple SAML. So configurations are done. Both IDP and service provider are setting up. So you have to go to authentication. You can see the setup of the example user path. The example user path, we set it up here, and our user is student. Username password is student pass. Let's go to this and type student pass. So you logged out. This is example, the user ID is student, and this is the example. Now you have already logged into IDP. So now what you want to do is you want to share, you want to exchange the metadata from IDP to service provider and service provider to IDP. So basically for that, you can find a copy IDP metadata to the metadata SAML20 IDP's remote PHP file from service provider. From service provider, you can find the metadata. This is the service provider. Service provider metadata can be found in here. This is the service provider metadata, and this is you want to go back again. This is IDP. This is the IDP metadata. There are two formats, the XML format and JSON format. We need to copy the JSON format, sorry, XML format, and you need to copy that to these locations. For the ID, for the service provider, metadata SAML20 IDP remote.php, and in identity provider, same path metadata, but SAML20 sp remote.php. This is after setting up these files, these configuration, so they can exchange their information from service provider to identity provider and identity provider to service provider. Previously, I explained that once IDP get a SAML request, IDP is checking whether the request is coming from the non-source, non-service provider. So they will check these configuration files and check in whether the requests are coming from the non-source. So now you need to go to config.auth resources PHP file in the IDP auth resources file. sorry, it should be service provider. I have opened the IDP. So you want to go to saml.php and the same path and config, then auth resources.php file, and you need to add the identity provider metadata path to here. So I have this is the path. This is the path I have mentioned in my Medium article, and the name of the application is default SP, and this is the path. So after setting up everything, you have two Drupal instances, with one will be behave as identity provider and the other one will behave as service provider. So after setting up that, so you want to go to config people of the service provider, config people simple PHP auth file, service provider, admin configuration, and our simple SAML PHP auth settings, and you want to change the all settings according to this. So basically you are allowing to activate authentication via simple SAML PHP. You need to tick that, and your default your application name is default SP, and this is the login link name federated login, and you want to save this information, and you want to change the local authentication. You need to allow authentication with local Drupal accounts and allow SAML users to set Drupal passwords. And so user role of the authenticated users, if you want, you can make it as authenticated user. And if you want to, if you don't want to go super admin via this SSO process, then you can disallow the super user, and you can save configuration. And the next thing is the user info sync in. So you basically you want to set it up UID, because we have set it so we have set it up UID here, student UID employee. So you want to set it as UID in here, and you want to set it the email field value, and you have to just save it. So after do the every changes, so you need to log out from service provider, and you need to log in out. So after you log in out, you can see the federated login link here. Once you click on the federated login, so you will automatically redirect to Drupal IP. This is the identity provider. So you can use student pass, and you can log in. Sorry. You will get authenticated from identity provider, and new user created in the service provider as user 2. Then you can go and you can see, if you need, you can set it up our password, because we have given users to set in a password. So this is the single sign-on process via simple SAML, but I know that this process is little bit complex. So what I want to do is, so these are the configurations we did before. So I want to use some SSO open source library, and I want to set up SSO environment. For that, there are some SSO open source platforms, just like Aeroboy, CS, Keylock, Shibboleth, and WSO2 Identity Server. So basically, WSO2 Identity Server. So I have written some article for that, how to set up SSO environment with WSO2 Identity Server. So basically, you can go to WSO2 website, and you can download Identity Server. You can download the Identity Server from here. It's open source. And you can go through my Medium article. Every information are there. So after going through my Medium article, you can set it up SSO environment with WSO2 identity server. So basically, I have already set it up environment. This is the WSO2 identity server. So I just log into that, and I have done all the configurations in there. So I will go to localhost, and I will just show you how it works. Now you want to log in. So you want to click on federated login, then it will automatically redirect to WSO2 identity server, and now you can use your username and password. So you can set it up everything in WSO2 identity server. After that, you can see your user get authenticated from WSO2 identity server SSO environment, and user get access to Drupal Drupal website. So again, you can set it up passwords, and you can confirm passwords just like this. So if you have any questions, you can ask from me now. These are the resources I use for this session. I think we are going out of time, but I'm happy to answer for your questions. Yeah, so I have one question. Why use htaccess versus URL rewrite or similar? So basically, we create a symlink folder. So I will show you for this symlink folder. For getting, so access this symlink folder. This is a symlink folder. We are using this htaccess rules, and so we are that's why we are using this htaccess rules. Yeah, so the next question is, I have set up SAML up with university system. Do you have any advice? So I have explained two options. The first option is setting up SSO environment using simple SAML, and also the next option is WSO2 identity server. So basically, the basic way is using the simple SAML or some SSO standard way. So other than that, there are some open source libraries just like WSO2 identity server. You can use those open source systems. They have already set up all the information. Just you need to do the configuration part. So Drupal can easily set it up with these open source libraries. Then I think so you can easily use these open source libraries for your commercial requirements. Yeah, the next question is there any private privacy issues? So basically, we need to, since all the information, since IDP, all the informations are stored in the IDP. We need to secure IDP. So for that, in the SSO, there are some ways, there are some standards. So we need to follow up these security standards. Then I think we don't have. Then the security-wise, the risk is very low. So the next question is, does the client provide an IDP for development or testing? So I'm not sure whether I understood that question correctly. So yes, so if you are going for some open source IDP or open source SSO system, if so just like as I explained WSO identity server, so then you can do every testing in there. So all the configurations have basic configurations have done there, so you can do it easily. What are the main reasons for using SAML instead of simple auth OpenID Connect? So there is no specific reason for that. So I explain why I choose this session. So basically this is result of one of my session. That's why I use SAML. But yes, you can use simple auth and also OpenID Connect for creating SSO environment without any issue. Next question is, can you show how to translate to HT strategy to Nginx? So basically in the Nginx, you have to write down different kind of rules and you have to do it separately. So I will add those information to my Medium article. Just go to my Medium, medium.com/@ivantha. So then I will update all information in there. So thanks for everyone. Thanks for joining. It's really excited to present in here. This is the first time I presented in DrupalCon Global, and this is my first experience in DrupalCon Global as well. So thanks for all. So I will put my Medium article link here, so everyone is asking for that. This is my Medium article link. Thanks for all. Thanks for connecting with DrupalCon, and have a good night, good morning, good evening to everyone.